The school was empty, except for the custodian, Raymond Carter, and its demolition was only months away.
What is that noise? It sounds like a bouncing basketball.
In the dark gymnasium, a basketball bounced alone, steady and unceasing.
There's no one here. There's no one in the entire building. It's 11:47. He checked his watch. The same minute he first heard it.
The ball continued its rhythm for 9 minutes, as if time itself had been suspended. He logged the incident in his janitor's closet. 11:47 p.m. Basketball bouncing. No cause found.
It's got to be a prank. Some kid must have snuck in.
He locked up the gym. But as he walked away, the silence felt heavier than before. The logbook entry remained, and the school waited for the next night shift. The next evening, Raymond clocked in with a knot in his stomach.
There it is again, 11:47, exactly the same time.
He ran to the gym and stared through the door window, his breath fogging the glass.
It's not a prank. No kid could do this twice, at the exact same minute.
For 9 minutes, he watched the ball bounce, as if pulled by an invisible hand.
I have to get a camera, evidence. Otherwise, nobody's going to believe this.
The next morning, he used his savings for a camcorder and a tripod. That night, he positioned the camera on a tripod in the corner of the gym, aimed at the basketball.
Tomorrow morning, I'll know for sure what's happening in here.
He pressed record, the red light glowing in the dark, and locked the gym door behind him. Raymond returned to the school before dawn, the camera still recording in the dark gym. He carried the camera to his closet, hands trembling as he connected it to a small monitor. He rewound the tape and pressed play. Grainy footage filled the screen. At 11:47, the basketball lifted and began bouncing in perfect rhythm.
There's nothing holding it, no wires, no person. It's just the ball.
For 9 minutes the ball bounced, then stopped dead at 11:56, as if someone turned off a switch.
This is real. I have to show someone, the principal. He'll believe it.
He copied the footage onto a USB drive and locked the tape in his drawer. He sat in the silent hallway, the USB drive heavy in his pocket, staring at the gym doors. Tomorrow he would walk into the principal's office and hand over the proof. Raymond found Principal Evans at his desk, sorting files in the harsh fluorescent light.
Principal Evans, you need to see this. It happened last night and the night before.
What are we looking at, Raymond?
Evans plugged in the drive and watched the grainy footage in silence.
I was wondering when you'd bring this to me. We call it the recess.
You already knew? How long has this been going on?
Evans pulled a dusty box from under his desk. Inside were logbooks dating back 60 years.
Every overnight janitor since 1962 has logged the same thing. The school's scheduled for demolition, so I thought you might not notice.
60 years. And nobody ever figured out why?
Raymond left the office with more questions than answers, but he was determined to find the truth before the school was gone. That night, Raymond couldn't stop seeing the basketball in his mind. He returned to the office first thing next morning.
Principal Evans, I need to know more about the history. Why did everyone just accept this for 60 years?
Because it never hurt anyone, Raymond. It's just an old school's quirk. The building is coming down soon. Let it rest.
With all due respect, I can't just ignore it. There might be a reason buried somewhere.
In the 60s, a janitor tried to investigate. Found nothing. The school board sealed any records. It's just one of those things.
Sealed records. Maybe there's something they didn't want found.
He flipped through the brittle pages. Dozens of entries, each in different handwriting, all stating the same impossible fact.
I don't believe in ghosts, but 60 years of identical entries isn't a coincidence. I am going to find out what started it.
The school's history is packed away in the basement archives. Knock yourself out, but don't expect answers.
Raymond left the office with the key to the basement archives, and a burden heavier than any ring of keys. Raymond descended into the basement, unlocking the archive door with the heavy key, the air thick with dust. He flicked on a bare bulb and surveyed the shelves sagging under decades of forgotten records. His fingers found a brittle yearbook from 1962, the school's first year of operation.
The first class. The year it all started.
He opened it to a class photo. A smiling teacher labeled Margaret Carter, surrounded by 9 young students.
Margaret Carter. What kind of teacher were you?
A yellowed newspaper clipping was tucked between the pages, its edges crumbling. He read the headline, "Lincoln Elementary opens doors." The article mentioned a time capsule buried by the first graders, its location undocumented.
A time capsule buried in 1962. The same year the recess began.
He folded the clipping into his pocket, certain the capsule was hidden somewhere under the gym. The next afternoon, Raymond unlocked the school's maintenance office and began searching through dusty blueprints. He found the 1962 renovation plans, the pages yellowed and fragile. The blueprints showed the entire gymnasium floor had been replaced months before the time capsule was buried.
That's why they chose the gym. Fresh concrete. No one would notice a small box.
He walked to the gym and stood over the center of the court, where the ball bounced each night.
It's right here, buried under the floorboards, waiting for 60 years.
He could almost picture it, a small metal box containing the children's most cherished items. He retrieved a pickaxe from the janitor's closet, its weight solid in his hands.
Maybe some secrets are meant to stay buried. Maybe the recess isn't mine to end.
He set the pickaxe against the wall, his heart heavy, and left the gym unchanged. Raymond walked out into the dark hallway, the echo of his footsteps the only sound.
I came so close to tearing up that floor. What was I thinking?
He entered his closet and stared at the logbook, the pages now feeling like a ledger of surrender.
60 years of janitors, and not one of them broke that floor. Maybe they understood something. I am just learning.
He opened the yearbook again, tracing the outlines of the children's faces with his finger.
They would be in their 70s now, if still alive. Did they ever come back to listen?
Raymond closed the yearbook and placed it carefully back on the shelf, treating it like a relic. He realized the recess wasn't a haunting to be solved, but a promise that was being kept.
From now on, I am just the custodian. If they want to play, I won't interfere. I won't interfere.
He hung up his keys and left for the night, the school holding its breath for another evening recess. He arrived for his shift with a plan. He'd wait until after his rounds, then station himself outside the gym. At 11:30, he pushed his cart into a classroom closet and shut off the hallway lights.
If I am going to understand, I have to witness it, not on a screen, but with my own eyes.
He dragged a stool into the hallway, sat with his back against the lockers, and faced the gym doors. The red glow of the exit sign cast long shadows, and the building creaked with the silence of decades.
11:45, 2 minutes. My heart's pounding like a drum.
Through the narrow gym door window, the basketball sat still on the floor, waiting.
It's about to start. Whatever you are, I am here.
The wall clock clicked to 11:47, and the first bounce echoed through the empty hall. Raymond held his breath, gripping his knees as the ball's rhythm filled the dark. The basketball maintained its rhythm, a steady pulse in the dead of night, as if it had a heartbeat.
It's exactly 9 minutes. I could set my watch by it.
Around the 5th minute, a new sound threaded into the air, a wisp of childish laughter.
Am I hearing things? That sounds like kids playing.
The laughter didn't come from inside the gym. It seemed to seep from the walls, the floor, the very center of the court.
There's nobody here, but I can feel them, running, shouting, laughing, just out of sight.
It wasn't a recording or a memory. It was a presence, alive with the joy of an eternal recess.
They're not haunting this place. They're holding on to something that never died.
Raymond sat frozen, tears tracing the creases of his face as the basketball fell silent at 11:56.
I won't write this down. Some things don't belong in logbooks.
The next night, Raymond clocked in without the knot in his stomach.
It'll happen again, and I'll be here to listen, not to fear.
At 11:30, he finished his rounds and walked to the gym, not to hide, but to stand guard.
The school feels different now. Not empty, occupied.
He paused outside the gym doors, the red exit sign casting its eternal glow.
11:47. There it is, like clockwork.
The ball bounced, but this time, he didn't flinch. He closed his eyes and let the rhythm settle into his bones.
I hear you. All 9 of you, running and shouting in a time that never ended.
When the ball stopped at 11:56, he opened his eyes and smiled. He walked back to his closet, leaving the logbook untouched. The machinery of the school hummed around him, at peace. Through the final weeks, Raymond walked the empty halls. As the school emptied out, he packed cleaning supplies into boxes, his cart standing empty for the first time in years.
It's like the building knows its time is up. Even the pipes are quieter.
On the school's final day, he stood in the gym one last time, the basketball still resting on the floor.
They'd be in their 70s now. Maybe tonight was their last recess.
He knelt over the center of the court, pressing his palm against the cold wood.
I won't forget you, none of you.
He stood, patted the gym door frame, and walked out of the building for the last time. The school stood silent, windows dark, the sign removed. Beneath the gymnasium floor, the time capsule slept on, its secret unbroken. A full year passed before the demolition crews arrived, their heavy machines scarring the ground where children once played. Raymond watched the local news as the gymnasium's walls came down, plaster and glass tumbling into twisted heaps of debris.
There's my gym. The place I stood every night, listening.
The broadcast cut to chaos. A worker waved his arms frantically, and the bulldozer shuddered to a halt, dust settling. They uncovered a small metal box, rusted to the color of old pennies, embedded in the concrete floor.
Raymond's heart seized the capsule. They actually found it after all this time.
The news anchor announced with hesitant excitement. A time capsule, buried in 1962, had been unearthed.
He sat motionless, elbows on knees. Now the whole town would know the secret.
The Historical Society removed the capsule, refusing to divulge its contents on camera, promising a public opening. Raymond didn't sleep that night, staring at the ceiling, waiting for the morning news to break. Raymond arrived at the Historical Society as a small crowd leaned toward a curator holding the rusted capsule. He found a seat in the back, his hands gripping the folding chair's edge. As the capsule was opened, the curator pulled out a single folded sheet, its creases sharp as a blade, and a smaller paper list. The note read, "To the future, from the first class of Lincoln Elementary. We voted to leave something of recess behind forever. May the ball always bounce." Signed by their teacher, Margaret Carter, and beneath 9 names in childish scrawl.
It was them. The children I heard. They wanted their recess to last forever.
Raymond's mind flickered to the yearbook photograph. The bright-eyed students standing with their teacher, unable to know their wish, would echo 60 years.
That night I was their custodian. All 60 years of us were.
The curator gently refolded the note, and Raymond slipped out into the daylight, changed. On the drive home, the list of 9 names repeated in his head, a quiet litany of permanent recess. At home, Raymond sat in his armchair, the photocopied note trembling in his hand.
May the ball always bounce. That was all they wanted.
The weight of 60 years settled onto his shoulders, not as fear, but as an anchoring peace. He opened the yearbook beside him, the faces of the first class, staring back, alive again.
9 children voted to leave recess behind, and every night they got their wish.
In his mind, the dark hallway illuminated with small figures chasing echoes, the red exit sign like a lamp.
Tommy, Sarah, Peter, Emily, Daniel, Anna, Robert, Laura, Benjamin.
He let the tears come, each drop a prayer for children he never knew.
You gave me a gift. The least I can do is remember.
He folded the photocopy, tucking it into his shirt pocket, over his heart. The next morning, Raymond walked into his kitchen, the photocopy held carefully between his fingers.
This doesn't belong in a drawer. It belongs where I can see it every day.
He opened a drawer, found a roll of yellowed tape, and smoothed the note onto the refrigerator door. The list of 9 names faced outward, held by a strip of tape at each corner.
May the ball always bounce. Now I'll see that every morning.
He stepped back, his hands hanging at his sides, and simply looked at the names.
It's not a ghost story. It's a promise, and I get to keep it now.
The photocopy remained there, a permanent fixture. As days turned into weeks, each morning, Raymond would pause before it, a silent acknowledgement, then start his day. The recess had ended, but the memory of it would never fade. Months after the demolition dust had settled, Raymond drove to the new school built on the same ground.
It feels strange to see a new building standing here. The air feels different.
He walked the halls, the bright lights and fresh paint a stark contrast to the dark old corridors. He pushed open the gym door and stepped onto the polished wooden floor. The basketball already in place, he stood still, listening intently, straining to hear any echo of the laughter.
But the silence was absolute, not a single bounce.
He walked to the center of the court and knelt, pressing his palm flat against the cold floor.
There's nothing beneath this floor but concrete and steel beams. No capsule, no promise.
He opened his eyes and stood, his knees aching, his heart feeling light. The recess had moved on.
And that was okay. The new gym would stay quiet, and he was ready to let go.
Raymond didn't leave immediately. He crossed the bleachers and sat on the bottom row. The wood cooled beneath him.
This is where the old gym's bleachers used to be, folded against the wall, watching the court.
He closed his eyes and let the silence wrap around him, imagining the rhythmic bounce and echoing laughter.
For 60 years, you came back every night. 9 children who just wanted to play forever.
The memory of that night in the old gym swelled in his chest. The laughter, the presence, the gift. He opened his eyes to the new gym, unchanged and sterile, and spoke into the quiet.
Thank you for letting me be part of it.
He pressed his palm against the wooden floor once more, then rose, his knees popping softly. He walked to the gym door, pausing on the threshold, the silence at his back.
Goodbye, recess. Say hello to Margaret for me.
Days passed, and Raymond's kitchen returned to its quiet rhythm, the photocopy holding its place on the fridge. A neighbor, Mrs. Halpern, noticed the list one morning while borrowing sugar.
It's just a reminder of some old friends. They liked recess.
He never explained further, and the neighborhood learned not to press. But the story spread in whispers. A local newspaper ran a human interest piece. The Eternal Recess of Lincoln Elementary. Raymond kept the clipping next to the photocopy, the 2 pieces of paper becoming a quiet shrine.
60 years of janitors, and now the world gets to know what we felt.
He passed the old school site on his drives, the new building, a pale ghost. The recess had moved on, but not forgotten.
As long as that list stays on my fridge, the ball keeps bouncing somewhere.
And every morning, before his coffee, he would read their names, a silent roll call of eternal recess. Years later, Raymond met a fellow retiree at a diner, the conversation drifting to odd jobs.
I was a school janitor once, graveyard shift, and I saw something I still can't explain.
He pulled a folded photocopy from his wallet, the edges worn soft, and slid it across the table.
9 kids from 1962 voted to leave recess behind forever. They buried a note under the gym floor. Every night at 11:47, the basketball started bouncing. 9 minutes exactly. And you could hear them laughing. I saw the footage, the logbooks. 60 years of janitors heard the same thing. It wasn't a haunting, it was a gift.
Raymond tapped the list with his finger, each name a small anchor to the past.
Tommy, Sarah, Peter. I say their names every morning. It keeps the recess alive.
The diner hummed around him, but for a moment, the air seemed to still, as if the children were listening.
So no, I am not scared of the dark. I've been keeping company with the best kind of ghosts.
Early morning light fell across Raymond's kitchen, the refrigerator humming softly in the corner. He stood before the faded photocopy, the 9 names still clear after all the years. Tommy, Sarah, Peter, Emily, Danielle, Anna, Robert, Laura, Benjamin. His fingertips rested on the paper, tracing the letters he had memorized long ago. The kitchen was silent, except for the clock's ticking. But in that silence, the memory of laughter felt close. For Raymond, the names weren't a list of strangers. They were the children who never left. He had been their last custodian, but the recess belonged to no one and everyone. He let his hand drop, the faint warmth of the paper lingering on his skin, and as he poured his coffee, the names stayed. A quiet roll call that would never be dismissed. There is a hallway somewhere, in a school not unlike the one Raymond knew. In its gymnasium, a basketball rests on the floor, motionless and waiting. And then, at the stroke of a minute no clock announces, it begins to bounce. Faint laughter threads through the air, high and sweet, like a memory of recess long past. A janitor on another graveyard shift might pause, mop in hand, and listen. The recess never truly ends. It just changes classrooms, changes gyms, somewhere. In a school built decades ago, a ball no one can hold still keeps a promise. 4 words, may the ball always bounce. 9 names, and a teacher's hope. Sealed in rusted metal, the laughter fades. The ball rolls to a stop, and the hallway falls silent once more. But in the dark, the names remain, and the recess goes on forever.